My ex texted me, I miss you, every Sunday, for almost 4 months. At first, I thought she wanted me back. Then she started calling me whenever she had a bad day. She'd send old photos, tell about our favorite palace, tell me she still thought about the future, so I waited. I turned it down another woman because I thought my ex was finally coming back. Then one Friday night, Max sent me, I need you tonight, please don't make me do this alone. I drove 40 minutes, thought a snowstorm to see her. When I arrived, she was sitting on the couch with another man. And the first thing she said wasn't I'm sorry. It was I didn't think you'd actually come. My name is Rowan. I am 33 and 2 years ago I thought I had finally found the woman I was going to grow old with. Her name was Elise. We meet a friend's birthday dinner. She was the kind of person who made a stranger feel like old friends. She remembered birthdays, she left handwriting notes, she'd randomly text me picture on things that remembered her of me within a year. We'd moved into a small apartment together outside Boston. It wasn't Elmorish, but it was our. We had a teeny balcony, a trimmer couch, a coffee machine that leaked water everywhere, and a habit of ordering takeout every Friday night. We talked about getting married someday. Nothing was official, but both of us knew where things were going. Then, almost out of nowhere, else changed. She became distant. She stopped making plans. She started saying they needed more independence. One night, while freezing rain hit our windows, she sat across from me and said, I don't think I can do this anymore. I asked if there was someone else. She said no. I asked if she still loved me. She cried. I don't know. That answer destroyed me more than a simple no would have. 3 days later, she moved out. No cheating, no dramatic betrayal, just a relationship that suddenly stopped making sense. For the first few months, I tried to get her back. I called. She didn't answer. I sent message. She responded with one word replies. Eventually, I stopped. I forced myself to move forward. I changed apartments, started going to the gym, spent more time with friends, and slowly I stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. Then, 8 months after the breakup, Elisa texted me just 3 words I miss you. I started at the screen. I didn't know what to say, so I replied, I miss you too. She called me that night. We talked for almost 2 hours. She said the regretted leaving. She said she been thinking about me. She said she missed our apartment, our friend Friday nights, my tribulous cooking, the way I always stole the blanket. I asked, do you want to try again? The, there was a long silence. Then she said, I don't know. That should have been my warning. It wasn't. After that, she started contacting me regularly every Sunday, almost like clockwork. Sometimes she'd say, I dreamed about you. Sometimes, do you remember that restaurant we loved? Once she sent me a picture of the old apartment building. She wrote, I still think about us here. I started believing we were getting back together, but she never actually said it. Whenever I asked, she'd say, I just need time, so I give her time, then more time, then every more. Eventually, I stopped dating, not because she asked me to, because I thought waiting would eventually lead somewhere. That was my mistake. One evening, my best friend Caleb asked, are you two back together? I said, not officially. He looked at me. Then what are you doing? I think she figuring things out. He shook his lead. Rowan, you are not our boyfriend. I knew he was right, but didn't want to hear it because Elisa did not treat me like a stranger. She treated me like someone she didn't want to lose, and I confused that with love. Then Elisa started calling me late at night. If she had a bad day at work, I was the first person he called. If she forget with her sister, she called me. When she could sleep, she called me. When her car broke down, she called me. When she felt lonely, she called me. And every time I had been there, I because her emotionally emergency contact. But whenever I asked for someone, something simple, where are we going? She said, I don't know yet. That answer kept me trapped because I don't know yet sounds different from never and was stupid enough to keep waiting for the second sentence. 6 weeks later, something happened. I meet a woman named Tisa. We meet a coffee shop. She was funny, confident, easy to talk to. There was no emotional roller coaster, no guesting, no waiting, just conversation. She asked me out. I said yes. Then, the same evening, Elisa called. Ivy had a privileged day. I told her I was out. She went quiet with someone. Someone. Yes, she said. Okay. Then hang up. 30 seconds later, she texted, I thought you were waiting for me. I started at the message. She had never asked me to wait, but so somehow started expecting me to. I didn't answer. The next morning, she called. She said, I don't want to lose you. I asked it. Then what do you want? Silence. Again, I don't know. I finally said, Elisa, I can't keep living in the middle. She started crying. I just need you to understand that I am confused. I said, I understand. Then I told her some things I'd never said before. I can't be your almost boyfriend anymore. She hung up for 3 days. She didn't contact me. I thought maybe I'd finally broken the psych. Then she said, I still love you, and I feel right back into it. That's how I ended up driving through a snowstorm one Friday night. It was December. The roads were terrible. Alicia had called me crying. She said, I need you tonight. I asked what happened. She wouldn't explain. Please just come. I drove 40 minutes. When I arrived at her apartment, the door was unlocked. I walked inside and there she was, sitting on the couch, never to another man. He looked uncomfortably. She looked terrified. I stood there, nobody spoke. Finally, Elisa said, I didn't think you actually come. I couldn't believe that. Believe what I was hiding. I asked, who is here? Who is he? She said, his name is Marcus. I looked at Marcus. He stood up. I'm sorry, he said. I asked Alisa, why did you call me? She started crying. I needed someone I trusted. I looked at her. You have him. She looked on Marcus, then back at me. I knew. That was the moment everything clicked. She wasn't choosing between us. She wasn't secretly planning to come back. She had simply built a life where Marcus was her partner and I was the person she called when the life became difficult. I was her breakup, her emotional safety net, the person she knew would always answer. And she'd never been realized how cruel that was. I turned around, I left. She followed me into the hallway. Rowan wait. I kept walking. She grabbed my arm. Please, I looked at her. What do you want from me? She cried. I don't know. I gently removed her hand. That's the problem. I blocked her that night. For the first time in almost a year, I didn't wait for another message. I didn't check my phone. I didn't wonder whether she would call. I just went home. The next morning, I deleted the old photos. No, because I hated her, because I finally understand that every photograph was keeping me inside a relationship that no longer excited. A month passed. Then 2. I started dating Teresa again. This time I didn't compare her to Elisa. I let myself actually get to know her and I feel different, healthy, calm, real. Then 4 months later I received a message from an unknown number. It was Elisa. She worried. I finally understand. I almost deleted it. But I read the rest. She said Marcus had broken up with her. Not because of me. Because he had realized she wasn't emotionally present in their relationship. She said she'd spent months actually me to remain available. And when I disappeared, she suddenly realized how much of her life had been built around knowing I would always be there. Then come the sentence I wasn't expecting. I didn't miss you because I want you back. I started at it. The next message appears. I missed knowing you were there. That hurt, but it also gave me the closures I'd been waiting for. She hadn't been lying when she said she missed me. She really did. She missed my voice, my support, my attention, the feelings of being understood. But she hadn't missed being my partner. She missed having access to me. There was a difference, a massive one. I didn't respond. 3 days later, another message came. Are you with someone? I did not answer. Another come. I heard you are dating someone. Still nothing. Then it's good to you. I finally replied one sentence yes. Alisa did not respond for survival hours. Then good, that was the last message I ever received from her. A year later, Trisha and I were living together. Not because I trusted into another relationship, because this time I wasn't trying to recreate my past. I was building something new. One Sunday morning, I found an old box in my closets. Inside was a photograph of Alisa and me from our first Christmas together. I looked at it for a few seconds, then put it back. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel sad. I just felt finished. And that's some things I wasn't idea understood earlier. Someone can genuinely miss you and still not want a relationship with you. Someone can care about you and still use your eventu- ability for their own comfort. Someone can cry when you leave with without ever planning to stay. I used to that the stranger things I couldn't do was convince Elisa to choose me. I was wrong. The strongest things I ever did was stop asking her to, because the moment I stopped waiting for someone who could not decide about me, I finally become available to someone who could. My ex spent months telling me she missed me. I spent months believing that meant she wanted me back. It took me almost a year to understand the truth. She did not miss being with me. She missed knowing she could always come back to me. And the day I stopped leaving that door unlocked was the day I finally moved